Hello, good people. Good evening. I'm gonna welcome y'all in. Yeah. I just feel like we need a little shimmy tonight. Feel like I had to bring out. If y'all don't know who this is, let me introduce you first off. So this right here, this is her name is Tammy Tambourine Brown. Okay, and Tammy helps me to get through a lot of stuff. Now, to a special guest, she's coming on right now, and her name is Jasmine Beard. So she should be up in a second. There she goes. Come on, give me them glasses, girl. Hold up. Okay, lift your thing up because all I see is glasses. Come on with the glasses. Come on with the glasses. She matches my background up in here. Hold up. Now let me move mine up because you can't even see my ponytail, honey. We don't put this ponytail on. This ponytail gonna have to be. Look, I'm gonna have to slump down just so you can get the ponytail in there. Not the bang. Okay.
The crown.
The ponytail. Okay. So this guest that I have on today, let me just start out. Every week, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we do Give It to the People Live. We transferred because COVID was all over the place, and Wednesdays ended up being a better time and a better day for me. So Wednesdays, 8 p.m., we highlight Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, minority businesses, small businesses that maybe people wouldn't see, maybe they don't know about, but they always are doing something really great. And so that's why we're making sure that we highlight these great people. So tonight I have Jasmine Beard, and I want her because I think I do remember the first time that we met, which would be about 3 years ago if I'm correct. But how did we meet?
So we met at, I think it was at your Juneteenth event.
Juneteenth, was it?
I think that was the very first time we met and had a conversation because
Okay.
we knew of each other. And we met at one of your courses. I think at one of your grant writing courses. That was when we first met down at the library. Yes.
Okay.
So that was the very first time we met, and we spoke after class a little bit, and then you had the Juneteenth, and that's when we spoke at Lynn. We spoke where people were saying, "Oh, you need to meet Chisa," and Chisa, you said people said I needed to meet you, so it happened, and here we are.
Yes. Okay, good. Because I was thinking the first time we met was Engagement and Inclusion Summit, but then I forgot that Juneteenth was before that. So, okay, so now I got it. So that was at the Civil Rights Museum. Juneteenth, it was on and popping.
Yes.
Because, my thing has always been to support small businesses and definitely specifically Black businesses and women-owned businesses. And, if there's a way that I can do that, then I'm going to do it. Now, even though things have transitioned a little bit, because I don't know who has what now. So I cannot be, I cannot support the way that I used to support because I like to hug people, and I like to be close and stuff. And I had already last year started not shaking people's hands anyway in January. I'm just telling you, I had already started. So it's like I had a sixth sense that maybe something was coming. And that was kind of the thing. But I think that people don't know. So if you are here in this community, which is in the Triad area, I feel like, and you tell me if you feel this way, I feel like in a little bit of a way, you're kind of a best kept secret. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not that you're not out there. It's just I don't think people even can fathom some of the moves that you be making in the background. So it's some things that I know people don't know that I want you to just drop on them today to give them some groundbreaking news. And it's one thing in particular that I am super pumped up, super proud, and super happy that you are doing and just undertaking. So I want to start where you probably don't think I would start, but I'm going to start now, and then we can work our way back. And usually I tell people, tell me your story and all of the rest of that, but I want to start with now. So I want you to tell them about TEDx, girl. Give them the TEDx juiciness. Tell them.
Okay, so recently I was selected and accepted the responsibility to be the co-organizer for 21 for TEDx Greensboro, with a local organization chapter for the TED, National TED Brand, or as most people know it, TED Talk.
Yes. Did you hear that? So if I'm not mistaken, that means you would be the first Black woman, okay, to be in that position. Am I correct?
Correct.
Come on with it. Come on. Give it to them, Black History Month, and it's not even Black History Month. Listen, okay, I'm going to just be honest, y'all. I knew about it before the public knew about it because I'm VIP, okay? But I was like, oh my God, because TEDx is one of the things that I said, eventually that's on my bucket list of things to be able to do, something that I want to do. And when you told me that, and I was just like, what? Like, okay, so you out here being in charge of some stuff? Yes, like that was an exciting thing to me. And that's why I'm saying one of the best kept secrets, because for a lot of times, if y'all know the word, how you spell lasagna, she moves in silence like the G, honey. Okay, she moves in silence. You don't even hear the G when you say lasagna. She moves like the G, okay? And that to me is one of those things where you said this when I first met you though, but you told me that you like to connect those dots and pull people together. And in order for you to do certain things, you had to connect those dots and definitely put yourself in a position. So can you just tell us, like, what was that process like? What made you even want to do that in the first place?
So there was a call, you're talking about the TEDx process, right?
Yes. For you to get in that position so you could be a boss with the TEDx part. Tell us about that.
Okay, really quick, when you said the G, move like a G, that's a t-shirt right there. But so initially there was a call for they were looking for someone to step into that role. They were doing succession planning, and they put a call for interested parties to apply and talk with their planning committee. So I learned the first person to respond. And I had an informational interview with one of their marketing chair committee members, and we spoke. I told her about that project management, event production, and customer experience management. And so she was impressed. We had a good rapport, and from there, she asked if I would be willing to speak to the planning committee, and I did kind of like pretty much the entire planning team, and they asked background and what I do currently, and then it was a huge added with my service that I do in the community. And from there, after having that dialogue with them, I received a notice, I think early January that they're ready to move forward with me. And I spoke with the current organizer, Skip Moore, as well. So after him, that was pretty much finalized their decision.
Okay, so what I heard was you responded rapidly. Rapid response was one thing.
Yes.
2 was also you were already prepared. And 3, it was your activism that you already do in the community. Okay, that's what I heard. Those were the things that really made them then, pull you into it. Plus, of course, then when they meet you and you have all the lovely, bubbly personality and you know what you're talking about, all of that. But you had that groundwork to do before you even thought about even taking a position. So I think that, with each one of these things, I want people to really understand that with everything and pretty much everybody that I bring on, there is some level of preparation of them knowing what they wanted to do or just being in position to be able to take the next thing on. Because if you weren't together, they would not have chosen you. You know what I'm saying? And so you being prepared and then being able to kick it out. Now, let me tell you something else. Let me tell you about this. Jasmine will be like, so what do I need to do such and such? She will ask you a question. Well, who do I need to meet to make this happen? I mean, like, you are not scared to ask those questions. And then, like I said, to make those dots connect to get what you need. And that's an important skill set that everybody doesn't have. So where did this confidence and this fearlessness kind of come that makes you just look at these opportunities and say, that's my opportunity. I'm going to go over there and get that. What is that? Where does that come from?
Oh, that came from being a little girl. In the neighborhood I lived in, I saw where the decisions you made heavily affect the lifestyle that you lived. And I remember sitting on the front porch of my house, seeing young women were young moms and didn't take advantage of opportunities that were given to them. And I knew, and then the situation I was in at that time as well as a young child, I said, my life's not going to be like this when I grow up. And I said, I have to go get it for myself. And that's what I internalized. And I said, I'll work as hard as I need to be. And I promised myself that. And then it just was fortified when I was in college. And I just made sure I wanted to be the first example of tenacity, perseverance, and determination for my future children. So.
Okay. And I love that. And part of what you do, in my opinion, that drive does also come from you being a mompreneur. So when you think about, you know, we've had discussions before where you're like, no, I want to do this for my child. I want her to see an example of somebody that's doing this. And, you know, you want to have her at certain meetings so she can see how you conduct yourself. You know, how important do you think that is for our children to be able to see those types of examples?
It's a must. It is a must. Our children do more of what we do than what we say. Perfect example, your children will, you know, use profanity because they see you using it, even though you tell them no, don't pop them, or, you know, and that's just a very simple example. But, or if you see a child imitating a facial expression that their mother or father does often, they do more of what we do than what we say. And it's very important that they are in those meetings. That's the best form of flattery, to see my daughter walking around the house with a purse and my heels on and a cell phone, walking out of the door saying, yes, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Can you take me a meeting, please? You know, to see her doing that. And I'm looking like, first of all, I didn't ask to be putting on my heels, but second of all, I'm highly impressed because I'm like, wow, she really is watching.
Having fake meetings. You better make those fake meetings on the fake phone.
Absolutely.
Baby say, I'm going to need to, yes. Okay. All right. 10 minutes. Yes. She better book an appointment.
It's so important because especially as a parent or a single parent, you know, that parent guilt and mom and dad, when you're working hard and you're on your, and sometimes you crave that time with your child, but you know that you have to be that to them. To see them bragging about your credentials when you least expect it, when we're at school meetings and things, and she's like, my mom is the Greensboro JCs, or my mom speaks this many languages. You know, I'm looking like, you know, I didn't think that mattered to her, right? Because she didn't think she cared. But it's very important because it shows that they're proud of you. It reinforces what you do. And then so just when I was in corporate, I saw a lot of people talk about how their children had no idea what, you know. So, and so they can't relate. And then when you come home and you're talking to your child about work, they don't care because they don't even know what you do. So I feel like it's very important. And I've seen the benefits of my child being involved in the board, in the community volunteering. The article, I know we'll talk about that, but in the, you know, when the depression and anxiety really started to hit for me, we got out of the house. You know, started volunteering with Out of the Garden, giving food to families in need, because that was the first and main way I could think of taking ourselves out of the system and looking at other situations, you know, then showing her that, you know, even in uncertainty, you never stop serving others, you know.
Yes. No, I love that. So I'm going to, because I was going to transition to something, but I'm just going to tell this little story. So I like to watch random stuff on TV. So today I clicked on this thing and it's called The Good Place. And I was like, let me just click on it. It seems funny. It seems quirky. And what's happening is the main character, she's dead. And she's in the good place. Okay. So they don't say heaven or hell, but it's the good place. And she's just like, well, what happened to me? I don't remember how I died. And then the guy tells her how she died. And then he's like, well, everybody that's here, they were good people. And the way that you got here was by the activities that you did during your life. And you know, he's like, from the sandwich that you ate to what you wear to how you treat people to the activity, you know what I'm saying? Like those giving things, that's how you get to the good place. And it's like, I think that oftentimes we think of things in a biblical perspective, but what he was saying on the show was, you know, she said, well, which one of the religions got it right? He was like, all of the religions were only like 5% right. because it wasn't about that. It was about what you actually did with your time and the impact that you made on other people. And I'm sitting here watching that today like, you better give me a lesson, okay? Like, it was just one of those things where I'm like, you know, I think that you are the type of person, because, you know, everybody has things that are similar. And I think the people that I kind of attract, we have that similar thing to give. We just give in different ways because we care about different things. And what I've learned over this COVID time is I really cannot care about everything. I just can't. It's just too many things to care about, right? So it's like, you never want to be president of the United States because it's always something to care about every day. But the things that I do care about, I take concerted effort. The people that I care about, I take concerted effort to send them whatever's going to make their business better. A hi, a hello, a tagging them in a post that I know that they would like. You know, and those are little things, but it just made me feel like, you know what, I think I'm going to go to the good place, because in all honesty, you try to do those good things. And I think that those activities make a difference, which is why now I want to transition to, this is Stress Awareness Month. There's a whole bunch of other months that it is also, but I just do what resonates with my brand. And that's where I want to pull in when you're talking about the stress and anxiety, because that's one of the things that I can say that I go through, that I've been in, that I put myself through, and I've realized that. And when you're talking about it, you have a different type of stress and anxiety, being a single mom, raising a daughter, right, in 2021, going through the pandemic, and then children having to be at home, and then you having to figure things out. So over this last year, what has changed for you? Because in what I see, you're still consistently working to achieve things and to make those touch points in the community, which is just a part of who you are inherently. So what has changed from 2020 to 2021 in relation to your stress, anxiety, making it all work, and just being great overall?
I would say what's changed mostly is the internal, for me, mindset of less can be more. I don't have to say yes to everything. I don't have to save the world. So really hit it on the head when you said, you know, we can care about everything. And I had to learn, I can't solve all the world's problems, you know, and I'm definitely not in this lifetime. And then learning to take care of me first, refilling my cup. So, you know, forcing myself to turn the computer off before 7 o'clock, you know, not eating after 7:30, making sure I get a daily ritual of working out in the morning before I even leave the house. And that has worked for me tremendously. So I start the day with multiple positive deposits into my mental well-being just by working out every morning. That really mitigates how I handle and manage stress and anxiety, to be honest. So I would say those are the biggest things. And then by me working out every morning, my daughter now gets up with me and work out in the morning.
All right. So yeah.
And her workout stuff, now she's asking for a waist trainer. I don't know if I want to give her one yet, but
first of all, you know, whenever you're little, you don't even have a waist. You know, that's what the good old people used to say back then. You don't even have a booty yet. What is that? Put that thing up, right? Tell her no waist trainer. Get them crunches then, honey. You're right. Too young for a waist trainer. But no, I think that to me, you have to find what's going to work for you. And that schedule that you put yourself on is kind of similar to our guest last week, Jacqueline, when she's saying, you know, she was working, and then the time that she has, and then she puts that in because she needs that in her life in order to kind of really mellow her out and keep her in a certain, you know, mindset. And when you do that, and then you're involving the kids, I think that that becomes something that then hopefully they continue on, you know, like it's something that they can't live without. And they see that. And so to me, that's an important factor. So your article that you wrote, because Jasmine is a contributor for the Give It to the People magazine for our spring 2021 edition that came out in March. And you can feel free to go to the link in my bio and get that magazine. It's totally completely free. But if you feel like you want to put a coin in there and you want to donate, go ahead and donate. Do it, whatever you want to do. But you can get it totally, completely for free. I asked Jasmine, I said, listen, this is what I need you to do. I know that you're awesome. She was like, well, what do you want me to write about? Because Jasmine, I told you she would ask you the questions. And I'm like, listen, I just want you to write about something that's important to you, something that relates to your business and what you do. And I want it to be black, blackity black. That was really the instructions, right?
Yes.
When I'm telling you, Jasmine was like, did you get my pictures? Did you get everything? Did you get my such and such? And she was like, and I was like, yes, I got everything, right? But she was one of the people who wanted to make sure that everything was right, you know, and that she sent everything in time and all of that. And I appreciate that. But your article really was telling people how to behave. That's what I felt like. It was telling people how to behave, how to be appreciative, and how to treat other people. And I think that that may be something that's a lost art. So can you get into a little bit of why you even did that article, and then just give people who haven't had the chance to read it a little bit of understanding about what the article was about?
Absolutely. So the title was A Joyful Experience, a joy, of course, and then a full experience, because it alluded to my background and experience in customer experience management. And so it's talking about, to Chisa's point, or to your point, the lost art of service and delight, especially, you know, in general, overall, but I've noticed a lot in this area. And you know, growing up here, and just growing up in the South, a lot of companies have their call centers here because of the Southern hospitality, aside from the low cost of living and wages, right? So just looking at the fact that service has been on the decline well before the pandemic, and the pandemic was the immediate excuse for, you know, lack of days of service. And so it's basically drawing attention to that, but also letting people know that even when you think people aren't, they are watching at all times, and you need to be mindful who walks in the door. If you have a service-based business, you need to be mindful who's calling, because customer experience doesn't start from the time that you get on the phone with them. It comes from the time that they know that you even exist, whether that's online, your social media, or anything. And then it's further enhanced or you know, decrease, sabotage, in their actual engagement with you, whether that's a phone rep, your waiter, your manager, greeter at the door, your phone service. They don't get anyone on the phone initially. So all of that makes a huge difference in what your business card says to these people. So your business card, not meaning the physical, but how they feel, how you appeal to their senses and their emotions. So that's what that article was about. And then I broke down some tips on how to make sure you're holistically giving a delightful experience, and then having a mirror moment. Sometimes fixing your customer experience doesn't always mean spending more money. Sometimes it's just making sure when I walk into your restaurant or your business establishment, I'm acknowledged within the first 15 seconds. Hi, I see that you're there. Would you, you know, I'll be with you in a moment. I'm this, or someone will be with you shortly. Thank you so much for coming in. Showing appreciation. Thanking someone for coming into your establishment goes so far beyond what you can imagine, because they feel appreciated, they feel acknowledged, and then they feel wanted and desired in their establishment. The other thing, you know, hygiene, that's a big thing. You know, hygiene and sanitary practices. You know, I cringed going into a restaurant, seeing a manager with gloves on, picking up trash off the ground. And I walked in and he said, oh, let me go get your to-go order. I said, excuse me? He said, let me go get your to-go order. I said, can you find someone else to pick up my order? I said, when I pulled up, I saw you rolling up the carpet and picking up trash off the floor. He said, well, I had on gloves. I said, yeah, but you didn't wash your hands either. I said, I'd like for someone else to bring me my order. And this is a restaurant manager, and you know they're supposed to take the Safe Serve certification and sanitary practices. So if the manager is doing that, imagine what the employees are getting away with.
Oh my God, that's disgusting. I just need you to know that. I have always paid attention to people washing their hands when they mess with my food. Always. This has given me a heightened sense. Your article made me realize, like, you know what? I always acknowledge when people give excellent service, whether it's through a tip or whether it's through telling them. And we just recently, we went down to Tybee Island down in Georgia, Savannah area. And the guy, you know, I told him what I wanted. And he was like, okay, well, it's going to take XYZ amount of time to make that, because, you know, you want it fresh and everything. And let me just tell you what the order was. Okay, so I wanted to try the new flounder fish. Okay,
you know,
I wanted to try the new flounder fish at Popeye. So when I walked okay, well, I'd like to get the flounder. And I was like, is it good? And he was like, yeah, it's good. It's seasoned and everything. I'm like, okay. And I said, I'd also like to get the chicken because I'm ordering for 2, right? So I tell him how many pieces, and he told me it wasn't enough. So he would make me some fresh chicken. So then he tells me, can I hold on? So I hold on and I'm waiting, and it's like, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And that's like an eternity in fast food time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back and he tells me, I just wanted you to know why it took so long. And he said, because I had to save your flounder fish sandwich from the drive-through because otherwise somebody else was trying to order, and I wanted to make sure we had one flounder fish salad sandwich left. So I'm just like, first of all, you got to go save my flounder sandwich, right?
Right.
Then, he's telling me how long it's going to take. So we sit down, check out the flounder, and then, he's telling me in between, okay, it's another 3 minutes, it's another such and such, it'll be out. And then when it's out, then he tells me, and he thanks me, and he puts all the little everything in the bag. And he was just so nice, and he's like, I appreciate you waiting. And I had to stop, and I told him, I said, I need you to know something. Your service is impeccable. You are awesome. And if everybody else here is operating like you,
right.
This is exactly what, if I had a job to hire you with, I would tell you, walk out this Popeyes right now, and you can come work for me, because your service, it was just the niceness, the kindness, the concern, the understanding of time that made a difference. And I think we have to, be like that as business owners. So then on the way out, they had a bell that said, if you received excellent customer service, ring that bell. So I ring the bell, and he was like, thank you. And I was just like, you know what? The simplest things, though. So when I say treat a person, and I'm looking at your article, I feel like we don't say thank you enough.
Right.
Honestly, right. Like I overthank people when they do things, especially if it's hospitality wise. And I think that we have to make more of a concerted effort to thank people, even just for following us.
Yes.
Even just for looking at this live stream, even for watching on the replay. So thank you, everybody that's looking and loving and liking. And I think that in business, we need to do more thankfulness. And your article, to me, hinted to it from a different perspective, but then also one where we can say, well, if we do receive excellent service, we should be appreciative, because you never know what's happening in somebody's life. So I always love those random acts of kindness. And I think that that's really a great way to express how thankful we are and appreciative of these frontline workers who, probably don't have another choice but to come to work. Absolutely. They can't just take off when they want to. So I think your article definitely helped to just bring that in perspective, for me, and probably for a whole bunch of other people who might not be thinking about that. But that's why we say Chick-fil-A, like if you're not Chick-fil-A service, it's like, oh Lord, you're gonna have to, you just get over there to wherever and you be like, but that Popeyes down in Georgia was everything. I just need you to know they were really nice and it was clean and all of that. But it comes from the person that's up top. So you are the top person at your company. You do the everything. When do you feel like I'm going to need to get somebody else to help me? You know what I mean? Because with all the things that you're doing, okay? Yes. All right? Yes. You probably think that every day. Yes. But with all the things that you're doing, and I'm just throwing this question at you because people ask me the same thing all the time. Do you have somebody to help you? And if not, when are you going to get somebody to help you? Because all of this greatness that goes out, you got to have some time to like be with yourself and then just have me time too. So when do you feel like, okay, now's the time for me to delegate to somebody else? Now's the time for me to get somebody else to help me, because that helps me continue to be great.
I feel like I gradually approaching that. There are times I feel like I should have done it. But realistically, because I definitely want to provide someone, a solid and honorable compensation for their time, I feel like that is coming upon me really soon. But yeah, to your question, to your point, that is a big concern of mine. And then, as you can imagine, being the person that does do everything, and then when you're like, I'll just handle it, I'll take care of it, knowing what to delegate, what's a good balance, because I also understand I take on a load larger than most people, and I've been used to that since probably even middle school, taking multiple tasks. So I have to be mindful what's a good balance, and to where I'm providing someone something that not only they can handle, but give them, some growth room, because I believe in developing and growing people, regardless whether family, colleagues or what have you, but also where it's not going to be too much to where it's a burden and it's not going to be a pleasant experience for them. But, I would say I am slowly approaching that. It's funny you say that, because I had a colleague that I was working with when I was in Brazil, and she posted on my LinkedIn today. She said, "When will you hire me to work for you?" She said, she said, "When will you hire me to work for you?" And I just started laughing, and I was like, wow, it's interesting she say that, because that has been on my mind the past couple of weeks. So.
And you know what? I just figured that with you taking on this new position and with everything else that you're doing, that it's one of those things where it's getting to the point where you're going to have somebody else help you. And I think that as business owners, especially if you're type A personalities, like I know you're a type A like I am, it is hard to let go. And I don't even want to say let God, let somebody else help you, okay? Yeah. We get so wrapped up in, okay, no, I could do it. It's just another day. It's just another hour. It's going to be 30 minutes. And then it's like, okay, I feel like what happens is there are moments in our business that we know we can do,
yes,
but that doesn't mean we should do right now. And there are other things that always get left by the side because you're trying to take on something else new. And it's kind of like, whoa. So this is one thing. And I know that we've talked about this before too. And we don't have to say names, we don't do all of that. Okay. But even like this, well, technically last month in March, some of my clients, I had to tell them, I said, well, look, your contract's up, and we're just gonna stop. And they didn't want me to stop. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm gonna need to stop. And at first I felt bad about it for like a week. And then as the month kept inching, I kept thinking, well, I could still do their work. I could still do this for them. And then as I got closer to the end of the month, I was just like, what did you say? Who are you talking to? Did you make an executive decision at the beginning of the month? You did. So why are you trying to backtrack and trying to do what you said you didn't want to do? Because this is the thing. If you know what's coming and you're always trying to make sure that you're prepared for the next thing, you know when the capacity is at a level, right, and you need to switch gears. And I told the clients, and I love them to death, and I told them, I said, well, listen, this is the thing. I don't want to have a diminished capacity to produce for you. And at the same time, I love your money. I would love to keep your money, okay? But I also have to do things for me, right? And so I think it comes to a time where you realize I have to let certain things go. So can you give us an example of like, you know what, I'm doing too much, and am I getting what I should be getting back? Yeah, I'm going to need to pull back because I need this time for me and my business. Can you give us an example of that to kind of help people understand it's okay? It's okay to pull back a little bit.
Absolutely. It's definitely okay. Perfect example, there was a client I had, and I was doing a lot, and I found myself, I was looking, I said, well, I need to start prospecting because I'm transitioning into a new customer segment. So, or client segment. And then I started looking at when I would plan these things in my calendar, I was always too exhausted to do it. And just the mental fog that I had, like I had no energy whatsoever. And then I started looking and I said, okay, well, I'm in business. I love what I do. I'm passionate about it, but why don't I have the energy for it? And I started realizing my biggest energy drain was from all the excessive things that I was doing for this particular client. And they say those who deserve you are the ones that get you. And I looked at it, I was like, well, if I'm not getting compensated for what I need, that's my fault. So I'm accountable for that. And so one of the quickest ways to do that is, one, have a conversation with them. Hey, I'm changing my price structure. I'm changing my way of working. Be on the lookout for a new and updated proposal. And, you know, if you have any questions, we can discuss. And that was exactly what I did. And I let them know. I was very transparent. I said, you know, my capacity, I'm changing the way I'm working. I'm growing. My capacity has changed. And the work that I'm doing for you, I can no longer do at the current rate that you're paying right now. And then there are some clients where, you know, it's just not worth the energy that you spend. They could be paying you $1,000 an hour. Some clients are just, you know, and it's not to badmouth clients. It's just sometimes they can be demanding and not aware of how demanding they are. And then until they realize the value they're getting, and then they're paying a higher ticket and not even getting a percentage of that same value. So to your point, yes, I've had to do that. I submitted the proposal, and then you know, they counter back and said, we really want to keep you on the team. What's it going to take to get today? That's where you make a decision. And that's when this is a moment when you recognize whether you are in the business for the money or you're in it for the passion. And if you're in it for the money,
that's what I'm talking about. And that's, you know what? I didn't know what you were going to say, but I felt in my spirit. You was, yes, girl. Yes.
So if you're in it for the money, you might want to question what you're doing. Yes, money, you know, as they say, it's not about the money, but it is about the money. However, that will drain you quickly because it will never be enough, right? It's a lack mindset, a scarcity mindset. So, but if you're in it for passion, you can peacefully say, you know, I probably need that extra 2, 3, 4, 5,000, but I value my peace of mind, and I value enjoying what I do, and I value genuinely feeling good about the people and the clients that I work with. I love to be excited about the clients that I work with. If I'm not excited about a project, or if I'm not excited to go and see that client or to work on their project, that's a quick gut check for me to say, you probably need to transition this project, or you probably need to reduce your interaction with this particular client. Even when you're onboarding, if you've got a client that every time you go to see them and they're constantly talking about how much they're paying you and they paid someone else cheaper, do not hesitate to say, you know what? I totally understand your perspective, and I can truly understand how your budget could be challenging. I think it's better that we go ahead and sever this contract, and I'll be happy to return your credentials and all of your documentation, you know, and you let them know in writing, you know, that for these reasons, per our last conversation, we'll sever this working agreement or service agreement, and then keep it moving, you know, because it's nothing worse than working with someone who does not see your value. And then even letting it be known, I'm having a new website being built as we speak. And one of the main things that's going to be on my website, these are the type of people I want to work with. And it's mindset, you know, mindset all day. If you have a problem investing in your business, you should not be in business.
Okay. All the words have been said. We could just shut this off. It is 8:38. You know, I know we got like 22 minutes. We're going to give them these 22 minutes, but listen, I feel like it's peace be still right now. Like I feel like that because I think that we want to be excellent. Okay. And, you know, me and my husband, we were having this discussion, and I was just like, so, you know, if you want to be excellent, and this happened with me, my mentor, she told me this, and then, you know, we ended up having a discussion similar to this, but sometimes you're trying to be so excellent and you just need to be good, because your good is somebody else's excellent.
Absolutely.
And I know that I'm good. When I give you the excellent, that's me going above and beyond. And what happens is, and I don't know if this has happened to you, but I'm just going to tell the audience, you're so used to being excellent and being so on par that you do too much, and you feel a certain way when it's not appreciated or not noticed, because it may just be that they didn't notice the excellent levels that you were providing. So then you start to say, let me just whittle that down and be good. And good is still somebody else's excellent. My good is definitely somebody else's excellent. But that's because when you care about what you do, when you are passionate about it, when it is your calling, and let's not forget your qualifications and your experience, the excellence cannot help but to just exude over everything that you do. So I'm thinking like, okay, well, let me whittle it down and let's do good. And then when good doesn't feel great to me, I'm just like, oh man, I feel some kind of way, you know, and I can't, you have to be that type of person to understand how it feels to not do the extra levels that you're used to. But when people are used to such mediocrity out here with what other people provide, they don't understand how important your next level is, how your excellence really just is inherently a part of you. They don't understand that. And you need to find somebody that does. And you know what I found? The person that really, really appreciates all of my excellence is me. It's me. Because I will be like, look what I just made. Oh, that graphic was dope. Okay, come on. I watch my own reels. I be like, that reel was good. I said, look, I can't I can't help it. And what I've learned is, if y'all get my book, The 90-Day Focus, Your Action Plan for Success, my quote that's in there is, you have to give up something to get something. And people don't seem to realize that if you're just holding on for money, you're never going to go to the next thing. And every time on God, okay, every time, all right, and on Mary Had a Little Lamb, every time that I give up something that I felt like was draining me, I get so much more in return. So I want to say to our business owners out there, entrepreneurs, everybody that's thinking about it, listen to what we are saying, but also listen to your own intuition and listen to the discernment that you don't need that client anymore. You may outgrow some people. You may outshine some people and they get an attitude because you're doing so great, but you can't let your level of excellence pull you down to where those other people are at because they don't see it. All you can do is just keep going. So now, this is what I need you to do. Throw out these credentials for these people. Normally we do this in the beginning, but we started out with the TEDx. Okay. Also, President JC's, correct?
Yes, just finished my second term. Just transitioned out as second African American female president of the Greensboro JCs.
Okay. So hold up. So you're done now?
Yes, I did 2 terms back to back. I'm done.
Okay. But see, that's what I'm saying. You had to know when it was time to move on, right? Absolutely. Like when it was time to do the next thing. And then here you go, when you make the decision to leave, then TEDx just pops up. You know what I mean? That's excellent. Okay, tell them what else you do, girl, because you got so many things. Give them a little resume.
Oh my goodness. So fluent in 4 languages: French, Spanish, Portuguese, and English. Certified in Six Sigma Green Belt. Certified in customer experience management. Recently completed the predictive index and talent optimization certification. And that's basically hiring the right people, putting them in the right positions for longevity and high performing teams and work cultures. I'll be moderating a panel this Friday for Who Do You Hire, to help change and dispel myths around hiring returning citizens or those who've judicially experienced the justice system. And then also I'll be speaking at a global conference for the coaches of United Nations Simulation. It's a global conference that's taking place this Saturday in Gambia. So I'll have to be up at 3 in the morning to be prepared to speak at 4 a.m. this Saturday. So that promotion. Put your hair right back on. Don't even, just get ready. Just put your outfit out now. You'll be ready for Saturday, girl. Yes! Listen, that is a list. That is a list, okay? And that's not even the other part of the business. Like, you just listed out so many things that I think people don't understand how important it is to continue to get education. Okay. So what's driving you to say, you know what, let me get another certification. Let me do another such and such. Is it that you know that you'll be more marketable? Is it that you have more of a desire to just learn? You know, what's driving you to make sure that you obtain all of these different certifications? The number one thing for me is every day I wake up and say, how can I outdo myself? I don't believe in competition. So, because I always say you never know what demons somebody else is running from. And if you look at people who are in the Olympics when they're racing, you rarely see them look to the left or the right because it slows you down. So as long as you keep looking forward, you're always going to continue to pick up momentum and speed. And so for me, it's always competition to myself. And then on top of that is my desire for knowledge. I love to learn. I do get bored quickly. So that's why I chose consulting, because each project brings a new opportunity to learn something and stretch my brain. And then also more so, I just want my customers and my clients to win. And when I say win, meaning to delight their clients. It doesn't mean competing against the next. That might be their goal, but my goal is, how do we delight your clients so that they, one, refer you via word of mouth, and two, how do we delight them so they keep coming back and spending their hard-earned money with you? Because there's so other people they could spend their money with, or they could just keep it in their pocket. So how do we continue to delight them beyond their expectations? And then I go to a client and I tell them, yes, I can help you utilize your client's feedback to help you win and build your business. Their eyes light up, because they'll say, well, yeah, we need to do surveys, but we've done them and nobody answers. And I can quickly tell them, this is what you need to do. There's a science to designing a survey. And then when you design that survey, this is what you need to do to follow up, to let them know that you are listening and not just reading and saying, thank you for giving us kudos, and, oh, you're wrong because we did this or that, when they're not giving you a favorable, review. So, for me, it's always the desire to delight my clients and to delight their clients at the end of the day.
I love it. Now, one of the things that I can say, because you said possibly we met the class, and I know we did the Civil Rights Museum thing, but this is not a toot your horn thing, but it is, but it's not. But okay, whatever you do. I'm not really one of those shy kind of chicks. I just kind of tell you what's going on. But what do you feel like, just from you attending my classes that I've done, that you've been able to be a part of, what do you feel like you were able to gain from that then helped you to delight your customers? What do you feel about that?
Definitely the marketing. The branding for sure. I would say the branding and the marketing for sure. I'm an ambivert, extrovert, as I like to connect with people, but I also am introvert, especially when it comes to like social media. Like I told you before, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. We're about to get online, But
she sent me this message, and I just sent her, girl, bye. I'm so nervous at 10 minutes till. I was like, I said, who? Why is she sending me this message? He was like, who? I said, Jasmine, talk about she's nervous. I was like, I have no idea what's going on with her, but I know when she gets on, she's going to be woo-woo. So I'm like, I don't know why she's sending me this message, but okay, pretend you're nervous.
Well, I grew up as a performer. So, anytime I got on stage, I always got nervous. But it was usually a good sign that I was going to do well in the performance. If I didn't get nervous, I always messed up. So, but the nerves keep me humble, I would say.
That's good.
So, yeah, I would, those are the top two, the branding and the marketing. And then just watching you motivates me, like, okay, you need to be out there. You need to get seen, you need to interact and those types of things. So I love that. And just your energy, I'm all about energy. That's a big thing, is energy. You can feel people's energy when it's genuine and authentic. And so I would say those would be the key things that I get. And I'm always learning something new, even if I'm like, okay, Chisa, you know what? You are the marketing guru, the social media guru. I can't do 10 different platforms all at one time, but I will aspire to do something. So I will say I have definitely increased my social media presence and digital presence by attending your courses. And then again, being able to share that with my clients, and I love supporting other business strategists and marketing gurus, because when I attend, I'm not only supporting you and your brand when I attend your course, but I'm also learning something to share with my clients. And then, as you know, referring back to you. And so, and it's a circle of, communal wealth all around. And to me, that's the only way you're going to win, because when you give twice as much as you receive, you'll never be at a deficit.
Come on, you better drop these quotes. Okay, so this is the thing though. Let me tell you something. These new pictures you took, honey, Anybody that knows me know I live for a good picture. I said, she is gorgeous. Not that you haven't been pretty and gorgeous before,
Thanks.
but these new pictures, I feel like you jump out at me. You know what I mean? Like, you're giving me, what did she do? Let me find out what that HR consultant is about. So I want to say I have noticed that. Then let me tell you what else she did. Now, I told this to people. You might be one of the only people that's ever listened, okay? I told people if you speak more than one language, put your things in multiple languages. She has got to be one of the only people that has ever listened, okay? Because she's telling, vote for me. And I don't know, what's vote in Spanish?
Vote hoy.
You better vote hoy, y'all. Listen, she had 4 flyers, all 4 languages, and I just was like all the languages, right? And people don't listen. And I'm just like, if I spoke another language, I would write in that language also. I would talk to you in that language also. And I can clearly see that not only did you listen, you actually did it and put it into practice. And for me, that's like, oh, shoot, look at that. Okay, you better vote to your oil, whatever you should say. You better do it, right? Because I get so pumped up when I see people's stuff look good. Like, I really just get, I call them the little chocolates. I get the little chocolates. They just be jumping around inside like, okay, look at her. Look at that fryer. Look at that picture. And I never feel like, like, you know how some people look at your pictures and they just like, oh, you just doing too much. Oh, you think, listen, if you ever need somebody that's doing too much, come to this page, because I'm going to do too much every day. I mean, so if you don't need too much, don't come over here, because that's what we're going to give you. But it's also that you do support other things in the community, and you can see that in the things that you put out. Can you, and I know we have a little bit of time left, but when you did, what was the name of the event that you did that was, you had me do the video for, where we were basically saying what we were going to do in the community to make it better, and you put that together with the Civil Rights Museum, and you had the poets and everybody talking. Can you just tell them a little bit about what it takes to build that community that you're talking about, to pull people in together? Because a lot of people don't understand that idea of community over competition. They don't understand how you have to work with somebody else sometimes in order to get where you need to go, and that when you do work with people, you should not be trying to use them. It should be something that's mutually beneficial. So that community service that got you to where you're at now with the TEDx portion came from somewhere else, but you were doing things before you got there. So just give them a little synopsis about that event.
Yeah, so the event was called The Time Is Now, and the original nature of the event was to have an open dialogue with, and just a backstory, Greensboro historically, as well as it's known for its pioneers in the fight for civil rights and against racism, it still has its roots in racism as well. So even today. And so that event it came out of a conversation with one of the staff or team members at the Civil Rights Museum, as well as Lyndon Rago of Cometa. And when I did the Everything Black event, the museum director had referred them to me. They said they needed an event producer or planner. And he said, well, if she can sit still long enough, this is who you need to call. And I was cracking up when he said that. He said, he said, John said, if she can sit still long enough, you need to call her. And so at the end of the day, that's how that event started. So I collaborated with another consultant on that one, Deftable Ziti Umalo, a good friend of mine as well. But we collaborated. We talked about, what were the different parts, who were the voices that were not heard in the rooms, because a lot of times, and you probably noticed this, in certain rooms where decisions being made, there are a lot of times you're inviting safe voices. Not the voices that face the disparities on a daily basis, not the voices that really see the reality and the harsh reality of decisions that are being made in our community. So a lot of times it's more so about being empathetic, having a touch point in the community, a genuine touch point, not saying, yeah, I know what goes on over there, but not really being involved and not being able to connect with those individuals. So having a real touch point, a genuine connection with them, and then letting them know, we want your involvement. Your voice is valued. It may not be valued in other places, but we value your voice, and we want your voice to be heard and give you a platform. So in general, just working with other people, yes, you have to be support to get support. And so that for me, I think is the biggest success in any collaboration that I do. It's always, what do you need? How can I help you fulfill that need so we can fulfill needs of others together? And that, you know, the biggest thing that we hear today is, or a popular quote is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so, you know, that it rings true. You know, I mean, if you take a candle and light another candle, that other candle doesn't burn out any quicker, right? You just be able to, you know, if the house catches on fire, it burns down even quicker. So,
yeah,
but at
that's
the end
true.
of the day,
But you know what? Let me tell you, and I think I told you this. When you did your Everything Black event at the Civil Rights Museum, it was after I had done, I think, at least 2 of the Juneteenth events. And I had a gentleman, let me use that word, a gentleman that was Black that came up to me that said, well, she's doing this event. It looks like you copying off of her. She looks like she's copying off of your event. And I said, well, I do Juneteenth. That's me. That's my personality. That's what I wanted to bring to the community. What she's doing is not exactly the same at all. It's at the same location. It's still trying to attract people, women, Black people, minorities, small businesses. But my event has no vendors at it. She has vendors that are trying to sell their things. And what I don't understand about your commentary is, even if she was trying to copy, first of all, I can't stop it. Second of all, I'm going to her event and I'm going to support. So I don't understand why you, and I'm going to say it like this, Black man, are so worried about her event. Are you going? Are you telling other people about it? Are you really here for the community and for the spirit of what she's bringing, as opposed to worrying about if it's like my event? Because they're not the same. I need you to understand that. And I think sometimes those little nuances, that little, the audacity of that conversation, let's just put it like that, to even do that, to not even just worry about, are you doing an event? Do you have something going on? What are you doing? That's really helping bring the community together. Oh, okay, so what you're doing is trying to be divisive. I don't have time for that. And what that did was that let me know where that person stood with me, where that person stood with you, and the fact that if we collaborate and we need something, that's not a person that we can rely on. Absolutely. Because of what they're doing. So you know how Jay-Z had the quote where, you know, somebody comes back and says, well, this is what that person was saying about you. And then it's like, well, why did they feel so comfortable to tell you about me? Right. That's how I feel about that. And that's why I think that we have to continue to cultivate these relationships and let people see that it is okay for everybody to eat. It is okay for you to have a business that's doing this and we do things that are similar. It's okay for us to collaborate and for me to not be like, oh, well, she's doing, okay, so fine. You know what? Guess what? Was there another place that you could have done it at? Was there something else? And the thing is, even by the time that you had done that, I had already done probably, I don't know, 4 or 6 different events at the Civil Rights Museum. So am I supposed to be the only one that's supposed to do something there? No, it just doesn't make sense. And I have seen this behavior over and over again. And I am personally glad that you don't let that type of stuff stop you, that you keep on going, and that you're consistently being somebody that the community, specifically women, specifically Black women, can look up to in this community and see that they keep going. Pandemic be damned. You know what I'm saying? I mean, AIDS be damned, right? Like, you're going to keep doing what you need to do, and you are always trying to help people. And I think that that right there speaks volumes to your character. So I think you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, we'll talk offline. But don't even worry about that part, because it's the behavior, and that goes back to what you said in the article, the service. So if you're just being a good human being, and this is your community, serve your community well. Like, that to me just makes sense. I swear, girl, sometimes these people just do too much and too little at the same time. How do you do that? How do you do too much and too little at the same time? All right, Jasmine's stuff is kind of like circling, so it looks like we're having a little internet issue, but you guys know what I'm talking about out there, right? You've seen people that do too much and too little at the same time. You've seen it, and we need to be more together. Like, I just don't understand all of the competition that people try to bring out. Okay, so we lost Jasmine. She might be coming back in, but we only have a minute left anyway. So if you check out her out, A Joy Consulting, she is, I have it tagged right there so you can see it. Check out A Joy Consulting. If you need to hire her for for her services, please definitely hire her. She has dropped all the good gems, gave us some quotes out here this evening, and I'm just, you know, happy to know a person like Jasmine because I think she's awesome. Okay, and you know I constantly bring on nothing but awesome people, everybody with different perspectives, something to give you. So remember, this is Stress Awareness Month. Okay. And I'm going to say this because now I'm going to be real ass affirmations version of Chisa. Y'all ready? Don't let these motherfuckers stress y'all out. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not let them do that. Whether it's your customers, your clients, your significant other, your kids, your spouse, your parents, your relatives, the people at the bus stop, the people when you go to get your car washed. Don't let them stress you out. Don't do that because it's Stress Awareness Month. Be aware that there is stress out there, and decide that you're not going to let that bother you. You're just going to dust your shoulders off this month because we don't have time for that. It's too many things that we have to accomplish that we cannot be out here just stressed. So if there is something that you're stressed over, this is what I want you to do. Write it down on a piece of paper. Fold that piece of paper up, okay? Throw it in the trash and decide you're not going to be stressed about it no more. But you are going to figure out a logical plan so that this way you can move on with your life. You don't have to be stressed about it though, but decide that you're not going to be stressed about it. So I want to say thank you to everybody that joined us this evening. Thank you so much for leaving your comments. If you're watching on the live stream, we appreciate you being on here live. If you are, oh, Jasmine said her phone died. She's trying to tag it back in. If you are, let me pull her up. If you are watching on the replay, then I definitely want you to leave us a comment still, share it with somebody else so that this way they see all of the goodness that's going on. And I'm waiting for Jasmine, so if she can get back on because her phone died, then I'm going to let her just give you her final details and her last words that she needs to say to just give it to the people because you know that's what we're about. And guess what? I'm still looking for more guests. So depending on what your business is, send me a DM, okay? And when you send me the DM, tell me what you do, and then I'll send you a link to join the show. If I like what you do, we haven't had anybody on like you, it doesn't cost you anything, right? And then we have a lovely, wonderful conversation like this, and we give it to the people. This is about being able to support our community. And our community is small businesses, women-owned, Black-owned, minority businesses, okay? So Jasmine is on. She said she's on her MacBook because her phone died. But she said, thank you for joining us this evening. Jasmine, if you can type in your website, that would be really awesome so people can see what your website is. But she's A Joy Consulting, as you can see. You can go right there to her Instagram and you can find out all about her. And she is, like she said, updating her website now. But you can see all of her beautiful pictures and check out the things that she's involved in. And if you just will give her some hearts, let's give a little round of applause. Give her one of those because you know she needs one of these. She gave us all that we needed this evening. And if you want to check out her article, go to my link in the bio and check out the Give It to the People magazine for spring 2021. All right, so we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that you always show up and show out and